Well, you've worked with some great managers. You've had in terms of your career, you've worked with some of the best. And I just want to
That's why you
ask
brought me here, isn't it? It's just
I want to ask you some questions.
First one.
So good and bad, Scott. I want you to be honest. What you've learned, or what you'll take as a manager from the people or the managers that I'm going to show you. The first one, I've got a feeling you've got strong affiliation with Alan Curbishley.
Alan Curbishley. Well, I mean, in terms of a manager, he's someone who I looked up to really as a player. I had an aura about him. I don't know whether that was, well, he wasn't just because I was such a young player. Very detailed in what he did, probably a little bit obsessive in that, but most of the top managers are very obsessive in the detail sometimes. So, yeah, very diligent in what he did. Alan was.
He gave you your debut as well, I suppose.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think that was he. And you know, he was someone he believed in the youth. Really put a lot of the youngsters through. Charlton was someone who believed in them and given an opportunity. Really. So
is that something you'll follow? Are you?
Yeah,
you know, obviously we can all. It's easy to say, you know, I want to play young players. That's my philosophy. But the pressure and the time constraints of a manager are tough. But is that something you'd love to do? Fulham have always had a great academy. Would you like to be promoting youth players?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I think you're right in what you say there, Jamie, in the sense of that it is as a manager. You're ultimately, it's the next game, and some managers don't have the time, or certainly don't have the facilities to be able to say, right, I want to risk that. But I think if there's one thing I want to be, is I want an identity about me. This is what I am, and along the way there's going to be some risks, but certainly bringing young kids through, or they just add something to your football club. You've been at football clubs when the Jamie Carragher's, whoever they may have been, the Steven Gerrards at Liverpool when you was playing, and the same with me. There's an instant bond between the fans, and yeah, I think it's probably massive.
I want to ask you about one. There's one young player coming through I've heard a lot about. What's the young? No, you'll think I'm talking about Murphy. I know Murphy's going to be good. That's fine. Who is the young boy you got? Who's 15, 16?
Might be a boy called Harvey Elliott.
Yeah. Heard a lot about him.
Yeah.
Is he one to look out for?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was involved. He's been in and around it this year, to be fair, with under Slav when he was manager in the cup. Been around the training of the first team. So he's that young at the moment that he's been with his GCSE. So he's not had a lot of time with us, but certainly when he's a good player, someone to look for. Another one, obviously, probably changed your life to a certain extent. We took you to Chelsea,
Claudio. What will you take from him?
Claudio, I mean, under him as a player, again, very particular, very well organised, very diligent. Again, probably just echo the same words as Alan Curbishley, more of a defensive-minded coach, but knew the game unbelievably well. And even my short time with him as a coach under him was incredible in the detail and how he see the game. Was someone who could just walk into a room, see a clip, and instantly recognise certain elements of it, or at least see where the faults were and where the good things were. So amazing eye, but one thing is an amazing man, a classy. I think we all see that, a classy man who, his record and his managerial status says it all really.
Okay, here's one for you, the special one.
Yeah. Again, Jose, when he came, obviously he was the first of probably Jose's era, really. Very honest, ruthless at times, which certainly I think you need to have that about you. He had the ability to make you feel 10 foot tall, or make you feel like you was practically, you'd done the worst thing in the world, really. And there was no middle ground in that sense. And like I said, that was the biggest thing for me. His communication with players at that time, making people feel $1 million and getting the right people around him. And obviously everything else says it all about him, really.
Yeah, winner. Yeah. What about this guy? I mean, listen, just go gentle because I have to sit next to him. Souness.
At
Newcastle.
Yeah. I love Graham, to be fair. He was old school, got old school values, honest man, and probably similar in the values and certain old school values, what I've got as well, really. Was more of a manager, but a good guy, a good, honest guy, who looked after his players and protected his players, and he was He was fantastic for me, to be fair, my time there.
He gave me my debut actually, Graham. He was as tough as they come. Now this guy was one of the best players the Premier League's ever seen, but obviously you worked with him at West Ham, Franco Zola.
Yeah, I love Franco. He obviously he's probably young in his managerial career, Gianfranco, and straight away, again, a good man, a lovely man, and had some clear ideas, had good people around him. I think the one thing that sticks out mostly with Franco is obviously when you're that good, probably not to join in training. We was a relegation side. We were a relegation side at the time, and Franco would join in, and he'd be like,
it's not a good idea. Twisted up the centre back.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't.
Exactly
that. So a good man. He was a very.
Do you join in training?
Not really. Occasionally, but not really, Jay. No, I don't. I did before.
Scissor tackle on him.
Not yet. Okay.
Avram Grant, obviously you worked with him. Did you get Player of the Year when he was your manager?
I did, yeah. That was a difficult season. It was massive. It's in the sense of we got relegated that year. Avram was more of a mentor as such. He was more of a thinker. Again, had coaches alongside him, but he was more, he's quite a deep person in his thoughts. And listen, I think Avram will be the first to say it was difficult, especially during that season at West Ham, but learned a lot. And it was what it was really.
Not easy for him, yeah.
No.
Then signed for Spurs. I remember all the transfer talk when Dad was trying to sign you. And obviously got you across the line, and I was sort of trying to make it. Well, I think you didn't know what was going to happen, and then you worked with Dad. It was great times, it seemed to me.
I mean, back then we had an unbelievable team as well. Dad put a team together there, which was fantastic, and in the sense of got people together, got a real understanding amongst the squad, and I know everyone says about Dad, and if there's one positive from him is he brings people together, and I'll probably echo the words of what I said about Jose. There'll be team talks what Dad would do, where he, again, I remember certain ones, Adebayor, sitting there before a game, and he'd just literally go for everyone else is sitting there, go to Addy and give him a minute talk, and it was a talk which just Addy getting bigger and bigger, and understood people, had a personal skill about him where he got the best out of people. It was a tricky squad as well, hard to manage. There were certain characters in that squad which was difficult, big personalities, but it was first class.
What about this one?
I can't believe he went on there, to be fair. Can you, for all the, I mean,
But I was going to say that,
you know what? It probably brought outside to Harry what we didn't see. I don't know whether you felt like that as well, Jay, but certainly for me, who played with under him, I didn't see that side to him. I see a very.
Well, the reason why I put this picture in was because, you've got you've been lucky. You deserve everything you got in the game, but you can go and do a bit of media work. You can have the easy life, but you've gone in and you're going to cut your teeth, doing one of the hardest things possible.
Yeah.
Whereas now I look at my dad and I think he's enjoying this life, you know. And is there a part of you that goes, I could do the easy life, go on holidays when you want?
I suppose there's times, obviously, when you got a family and 4 sons, and you're missing out on things which all of a sudden the last 2 months I have done and not been around as much, and in that sense there's times you think, but I suppose football's all I've ever known. I was playing football in an estate when I was 9, and I've just known that all my life really, and like I said, it's just a passion which I've picked up in coaching, which has probably took the path of once was a player really. So yeah, maybe it might be a different answer in a few months' time.
Andre Villas-Boas.
Yeah, Andre.
Very much like Jose.
He was obviously under Jose. Andre, very, very, very meticulous, very detailed. Probably sometimes a bit too much at times, really, but was a perfectionist. And again, obviously was under Jose, and had a season with Andre, again, learn bits from him, which you take from everyone really.
You've worked with some great managers, Scott. I mean, so that's going to shape your managerial career, I'm sure. But Jokanovic, obviously, you worked with him as well. What will you take from him?
I believed in what he believed in and stuck with it, and had a belief in the way he wanted his team to play, and didn't divert from that really. Had some clear principles. Come to the football club when we was going through a rough stage really, and really set us all out, and has been fantastic for this football club, and obviously put us in the position we're in now in this Premier League really. So yeah, a very detailed man.
Fabio Capello, obviously you play for England. What will you take from him?
Fabio was he was difficult in the sense of as a player, and the relationship he had with the team and the players was sometimes very hard. Whether that was down to communication, whether that was just the way he was, but he was very distant. But again, obviously there was a language barrier there, but had a clear idea, very stern in his way, got instant respect from the players, had instant respect in that sense, and done well by me. In the end, I proved him right. Earned his trust, and he put me in really. So again, I think he's a good man really.